There are many amazing places on our planet. Some evoke peace and tranquility, while others are fraught with insidious danger and mortal threat. We present to you a selection of dangerous places on our planet where you should not go without certain knowledge and special training. This place has terrified sailors for many centuries, because here is the most dangerous whirlpool in the world, Saltstraumen. The largest and widest bay in Norway, the Westfjord, is closed from the west, on the Atlantic side, by the rocky ridge of the Lofoten Islands. Like a giant hammer, it cuts the rapid flow coming from the south along the coast of the North Atlantic Current, directing half of it into the interior of the Westfjord. The coastline of the Norwegian islands is indented by fjords, around which rocks are scattered. Tidal currents are also very strong there. This is where the problem lies. As soon as the tide begins, streams of water immediately rush towards the islands, but they are impeded by underwater and surface rocks. Then they penetrate into the narrow straits between the islands and the equally narrow bays of the islands. All this together is the mechanism that creates the famous Saltstraumen whirlpool. Practically, the same thing can be observed during low tides. Currents at such moments become unpredictable. In addition, frequent winter storms add to the already difficult situation. From time immemorial, this place was considered unkind. In the old days, the local huge whirlpool was attributed to gods and underwater monsters. The speed of the whirlpool is 12 kilometers per hour, and the tide increases the current to 40 kilometers per hour. The width of the whirlpools that arise can reach 15 meters, and the depth of the funnel can reach up to 5 m, a real monster. In the old days, it meant inevitable death for any ship that was captured by a funnel. To better understand the power of the elements, a small boat needs to have at least two 150 horsepower engines to resist the flow. So it is not surprising that several centuries ago, when ships, and especially small fishing boats, were much smaller and did not have engines, this natural phenomenon caused panic and horror. Nowadays, however, captains are also not recommended to swim into the strait during high tide or during a storm. Another dangerous place, although fraught with a hidden threat, is the Poison Garden in England. The entrance is blocked by a large black gate, decorated with skulls and warning signs, behind which are collected more than 100 deadly plants, many of which are prohibited from growing. Here you will not see roses and chrysanthemums, as, indeed, asters, and tulips, and evergreen shrubs. Visitors walk through this garden under the watchful eye and only with a guide. In addition, there are signs everywhere prohibiting touching plants, one touch of which can kill a person. A huge number of plants have also been collected from which various narcotic drugs and poisons are made. Many of the most dangerous specimens are kept behind bars so that no one even has the opportunity to try to touch them. Many plants growing in the park are known to most people from childhood, for example castor bean, which can be found in front gardens as an ornamental plant, but the seeds of this plant contain a very dangerous poison, ricin. Oleander is also considered a dangerous plant. These bushes with beautiful flowers of different shades can be found in many parks around the world. There are especially many of these plants in the southern regions. Any type of oleander bush can cause death to a person. At the same time, the poisonous properties of the plant do not disappear either after drying or during any type of processing. They cannot be burned after drying. All parts of the bush are poisonous. They contain large quantities of glycosides, organic compounds that were used in the production of medicines. The scariest cave is in England, the closed Hodge Quarry. Only the bravest can dare to descend into this cave to begin exploring the icy water. This terrible place has claimed the lives of several divers and climbers. The lake, which formed in an abandoned quarry, reflects the real picture of this place. If you photograph the quarry itself along with its reflection, you will see an ominous image of a skull. Moreover, its size is impressive. Here you don't even need Photoshop, everything is clearly visible. It would seem that this skull cave warns people with its appearance, hinting to them to go as far as possible and not to go into its depths. But many thrill-seekers, wanting to prove to themselves and others that they are not afraid of the terrible face of the cave, descend into its depths. The main tunnel has several chambers located along its entire length. making it a very popular spot for the most intrepid divers. The water temperature at depth is no more than 6 degrees Celsius. Due to several tragic deaths, the place has a bad reputation, and some divers immediately float to the surface due to a strange uneasy feeling. Some even think that there are bodies at the bottom. Underwater there is almost complete darkness, and the diver's wild imagination helps him create in his imagination eerie pictures supposedly hiding at the bottom. All this causes panic and a desire to surface as quickly as possible. Sometimes haste and carelessness lead to the death of divers. Previously, shale was mined here, but now the quarry is abandoned. Over time it filled with water, and a lake was formed, hiding under the water column a large network of caves connected by passages. This place is a real find for filming horror films, because it is difficult to imagine that such a landscape is real. This place is called the Gate of Hell. It is amazing how fire erupts from underground in the middle of the desert. The sight of a flame burning among the yellow sands of the desert fascinates and intrigues even seasoned travelers. But few know how exactly this miracle of nature, located 266 kilometers north of the city of Ashgabat, came into being. In 1971, in the Karakum Desert, not far from the small village of Darvaza, whose name means gate in Turkmen, they began to drill an exploration well for gas. During drilling, an incident occurred. Geologists accidentally opened an underground cavity into which all the equipment, along with the drilling rig and transport, fell. No people were injured, but natural gas escaped from the cavity. In order not to cause problems to local residents from the same village of Darvaza, geologists decided to set fire to the gas, hoping that it would completely burn out in a few days. Weeks, months and years passed, and the fire continued to burn without dying down. In 2004, by order of Turkmenbashi, the village was moved to another location, and the Darvaza Gas Crater continued to burn. It still burns today. No one knows how long this will last, whether gas reserves will finally run out or the fire pit will eventually be filled in, because gas is a valuable resource, and here it has been wasted for several decades. Nevertheless, the Darvaza Gas Crater still remains one of the most interesting and mysterious attractions of Turkmenistan, attracting many tourists every year. The boiling lake in Dominica also cannot be called a safe place. The national park of the island country of Dominica is an area of increased volcanic activity. The area of the park is about 7,000 hectares. 5 of the island's 9 volcanoes, dozens of hot springs, and the famous boiling lake are located here. As you understand, the lake got its name thanks to its boiling water. Boiling Lake is located in the southern part of Dominica on the slope of the Morne-Wat volcano in a lush tropical forest, at an altitude of approximately 800 meters above sea level. The reservoir is filled with bubbling grayish-blue water, the temperature of which is about 90 degrees Celsius. The water is heated by hot steam and gases from the hot lava below. Clouds of steam usually hang above the surface of the lake. The boiling lake has an almost circular shape with a diameter of about 70 meters. The lake was first discovered in 1870 by 2 Englishmen, Edmund Watt and Henry Alfred Nichols, who were working in Dominica at the time. In 1875, Henry Presto, a government botanist, and Henry Nichols were commissioned to investigate this extraordinary natural phenomenon. During the study, it turned out that the water temperature was in the range of 82-92 OC, and this is along the edges of the lake. It was not possible to obtain data on the temperature in the center due to the great danger. According to early researchers, the depth of the boiling lake is about 60 meters. But these data are questioned. According to modern scientists, the depth of the lake does not exceed 15 meters. It is possible that the depth of the reservoir is influenced by volcanic activity in the surrounding area. It is possible that initially they really measured 60 meters, and after 100 years it is already 15. The lake is fed by sediments and 2 small streams. Water seeps into the lava in the upper layers of the Earth's crust and is heated to boiling point. Today the boiling water lake is a well-known but hard-to-reach landmark of Dominica. There is no direct road leading directly to the lake. Tourists usually have to climb a 13-kilometer climb to reach it from the nearest road. It is highly not recommended to search for Boiling Lake without a guide, since the path runs through sulfur springs and hot pools, gas and steam erupt from underground, and there is a high probability of not reaching the lake on your own. Well, that's all for today. Thank you all for watching. If it was interesting, support the video with likes, thank you for subscribing, and take a look at what else we have prepared for you.